Hello everyone, Jamarcus here, and I'm here with week 6 of the Master Ball division for Showdown of the SPDA Season 1. We're faced off against Lou, who I know is a very good player. I was teammates with him in the off season, and he's got quite the team. He picked up Iron Valiant a couple weeks ago because someone dropped it, so he has Gouging Fire, Greninja, Iron Valiant with Terra Lucario. Uh, Probably the best team in the league at this point, although some of the Pokemon at the bottom are kind of trash, to be honest. At least I think. Um, but yeah, just that offensive core, those top fours is crazy. A ton of strong priority, which my team does not like. So I don't think I win this game, although I'm really hoping to, because right now we're 3-2. Winning this game would put us at a pretty good spot for making playoffs. Losing it, we'd be looking at winning the next two games in a row. So, what from my opponent's team am I scared of? Gouging Fire, not really, to be honest. I think Swampert can handle it decently. Carbink is actually really good into it. If I bring it, Screamtail I think is also pretty nice into it. So I'm not actually too worried about Gouging Fire. Greninja can be very strong into me. I think Kyurem can handle it, and depending on the set, it'll struggle against other things. So if it's running physical with low kick and gunk shot, now it's weak into Skarmory. If it has to drop a water move, now it's pretty weak into Iron Moth. So I think it's going to struggle to do everything, but it'll certainly help my opponent quite a bit. Terra Lucario, very strong into me. Pretty bad into Skarmory, but incredible into everything else. Except like Typhlosion Hisui, I guess. I think it's really good though. I think it'll certainly show up. I'm just expecting top 5 plus maybe Serp or Muck, probably Muck, just because Serp doesn't really do anything to Iron Moth or Skarmory. Even Meloetta, I think something for Iron Moth is probably what my opponent is looking at bringing, although Terra E-Speed does a lot of damage, so they might just be able to pick me off with that. What do I think looks good for my team? I really wanted to bring Roaring Moon. I think offensively it has the coverage it needs. It does a lot of damage. They don't have the best defensive Pokemon for it, although there's just way too much priority for my Roaring Moon to actually live anything. Bullet Punch into E-Speed's gonna kill me. Bullet Punch Vacuum Wave. I'm taking way too much damage, especially if a spike goes up. Although they don't have the best opportunity for hazards, it's really just spikes on Gran and then rocks on the Sandcastle. So I don't think hazards are showing up, but they might. One thing that I really like for my team is Swampert, actually. If Superior isn't showing up, which I have fantastic answers into, I think it's pretty bad into my team, their ground resist is Minior. So I ended up bringing Choice Band Swampert, which I think was really good into this team. I've got to watch out for grass coverage, Trailblaze, Scizor, and Grass Knot on the Greninja, even Leaf Blade on Iron Valiant, Energy Ball on Meloetta. There's a lot of options, but I think they're going to struggle to kill it, and it'll pretty much get a kill in front of anything. So let's look at what I brought. Starting off, we got Screamtail, just a support set, Citrus Berry, enough speed for Gouging Fire, then Encore Thunder Wave with Dazzling Gleam and Flamethrower. Dazzling Gleam is for Gren, and kind of Gouging Fire. Flamethrower is there for Scizor. But I think Encore and Thunder Wave are just going to be really nice. Citrus Berry, just try and stay healthy. I had Wish Protect at first, but I really wanted Thunder Wave. I thought clicking Thunder Wave into any of these top 5 would be fantastic. Next up, Choice Scarf Moth. I can be modest because I only need to outspeed Gouging Fire. So I have Fiery Dance and Fire Blast, Sludge Wave, and U-Turn. These 3 moves hit pretty much everything besides Minior. I don't think it's showing up. And then Sludge Wave. If Lucario Terras and Scizor dies early, I think Scarf Sludge Wave could really help clean up late game. This is assuming they aren't Booster Valiant or Scarf Greninja though, so I've got to be careful. Next up, Carbink. This is like the MVP for this game. Just max defense, Terra Water. Should beat every Scizor set. Should beat every Lucario set. Every Gouging Fire set. I think it'll be pretty good. Iron Defense Body Press with spikes and Resto Chesto. I don't think I've ever lost a game with Carbink, and hopefully this won't be the first one. Terra Water, pretty bad into Serp, but having that water resist on Greninja is really nice. I couldn't really go Terra Ghost because it's weaker into Gren, and Terra Poison. In hindsight, I probably could have brought Terra Poison too, but I didn't. I brought Terra Water. You might also notice a couple of changes on my Terra types. Um, week 4 I lost because I didn't have Terra Poison or Balova, and I thought I did. So this time I actually do. And then Terra Electric as well. I switched it from Terra Fairy, or I have Terra Fairy still. Terra Fire and Terra Ghost got dropped because I wasn't really utilizing those very well. And then Terra Fighting on Typhlosion got switched to Ghost. But Carbink is the same. So that's Carbink. Here's Choice Man Swampert. Enough speed for a defensive Scizor. And then the rest in some bulk. Liquidation, I'm pretty much clicking Earthquake every time though. Knockoff is there, Flip Turn is there, but Earthquake is my main move. Next up, terrible Kyurem set. Not happy at all with the set I brought, but that is the set I brought. Sub DD with Scale Shot and Icicle Spear with Mirror. The idea behind this was switch in on a Swords Dance from Lucario or um, any of their Pokemon really. There's a lot of setup on this team, even Shell Smash Minior. Uh, I don't actually know if Contrary Leaf Storm I would get the boost. Not that I needed to, um, because I don't have any special attacks, but interesting. I'll think about that. Hopefully I get a boost and I can sweep, assuming Scizor and Lucario take some chip. I don't know. We'll see if it works. Hint, it doesn't. I had loaded dice, but I changed it last minute because someone told me to. Last up, Skarmory, Max Bizdef, another Iron Defense Body Press Mon because one wasn't enough. Having spikes on Carbink allows me to fit Whirlwind on Skarmory, which is really nice. And then Roost because it's Roost. Rocky Helmet helps me a lot into Lucario, helps me a lot into Scizor. Even if I get an Iron Defense, this thing can probably beat Gouging Fire, depending on the set. If they're attack booster, maybe not. So that's the team I brought. As I said, I'm expecting top 5, plus probably Muck, but we see the Meloetta instead, which is probably their Iron Moth check. I'm assuming Assault Vest. Otherwise, nothing too surprising. I saw no Serp, so I really wanted to lead Swampert. But I was expecting a Greninja lead, and I did not want to get Grass Knot at turn 1 because that would kill me if they're Protean. So I end up actually leading Carbink because I think Terra Water Carbink just will not die this game. So let's get a spike up nice and early. They do lead the Greninja, and I was very tempted to click Body Press here, just get some damage. Um, it's pretty strong into everything, and if they go Valiant this early, then it's using its booster energy, if it has it, which means later on my Moth will be faster. And even then, if I Terra Water, it's not doing that much back to me, although I'm not doing much to it, so it would be a bit of a tough scenario, I suppose. But maybe I can go Moth if I don't see a booster speed. Or Scream Tail. An Encore. Thunder Wave. A lot of options. So I was not too worried about Valiant coming in on Body Press, but even then I wanted Spike up because their only removal is Defog Scizor, which is not great. So I Terra Water the U-turn. At that point I was assuming Scarf. I think leading this thing and clicking U-turn is the most obvious Scarf Greninja ever. I could have a Spike. Had I Body Press on this Meloetta, I would have figured out its set, would have gotten some nice chip on it, which could have put it in range of Kyurem. Could have been nice, but I think this spike is going to be really helpful too, because their entire team takes damage from this spike. I switch into Kyurem. I have nothing for this Pokemon, and I don't think Kyurem looks that good. They brought both their steel types, and I was regretting Mirror Herb already, so I figured let's just try and get some damage on Meloetta. They click Hyper Voice. They are max special attack, modest, based on that damage, and I just decide I'm going to get some damage on them. Scale Shot. I hit twice, and they kill me with Alluring Voice. So, pretty bad start for me. I got a spike up, they got damage on Carbink and killed Kyurem, and I can't kill this Meloetta with anything. Pretty bad spot for me. I go Scream Tail, because that's all I can do really. And I figured if I slow this thing down, then maybe I can kill it with Choice Band Earthquake from Swampert. So I click Thunder Wave, they go Scizor. Not too surprising. I decide to go Iron Moth here because I figured they might not want to take a flamethrower. They might not want to U-turn into Rocky Helmet Scarm. Let's get Moth in on like a bullet punch or something and then threaten a fire move. But they do just U-turn, and in comes Meloetta again. Not great, but I actually have U-turn, which is going to do decent damage to them. They should be in range of Swampert Earthquake for sure now. Although I don't want to risk them having Energy Ball still, so I just go back to Screamtail. I figured they would go back into Scizor here, so I click Flamethrower, expecting them to go Scizor. Doesn't work out, and they just get a lot of damage off on me with Hyper Voice. I get my Citrus Berry, and I finally just Thunder Wave them. I think keeping Screamtail alive would be good. I don't want this thing getting too chipped down. It can still live a hit from Gouging Fire pretty well. So I decide to go Scarm here, because I know Body Press will kill it and I'll be faster. They get fully parried as I Thunder Wave them. I go Scarm and they get fully parried again. I'm getting very lucky. This is my out. After that first 3 or 4 turns that were really bad for me, starting to look a little bit better. I can Body Press, nothing really wants to switch in on that, and I do some good damage. Scizor comes in, which was very surprising to me. What do you do to me? I guess they just want to defog, or break my sturdy. I just click Iron Defense, because I figured, now that Meloetta's dead, what did they do about Iron Defense Skarmory? They go Iron Valiant, they reveal Booster Speed. I know Thunderbolt will not kill me, so I just stay in and click Whirlwind to get this thing's Booster Speed gone, so that, or do I click Whirlwind? Maybe I switch. What do I do? No, they Moonblast, they predict. Right. They Moonblast expect me to go Swampert, I guess, on Thunderbolt. Or maybe Screamtail, I'm not sure. But I click Whirlwind, get their Booster Speed gun. Gouging Fire comes in, this is fantastic. They actually reveal Booster Speed on Gouging Fire, which tells me they don't have that much attack, which tells me this Skarmory probably beats this Gouging Fire in this position. The Heat Crash, it does nothing, and I can Roost and get all my health back. From this point, they're in a pretty bad spot. I Whirlwind, because they're not 2 KOing me, and Gouging Fire comes back in. This spike is doing wonders. Scizor comes back in again. I Iron Defense. I Roost back because I want to get to Sturdy. And I Body Press. As Iron Valiant comes in, I know I will live a Thunderbolt. And down goes Iron Valiant. Fantastic. It's looking pretty good. Lucario comes in. I do not want to let this thing set up, so I just click Body Press and Sack. That's fine. From this position, Swampert will live a hit. And Earthquake. I think that's the play I make, right? After Life Orb, yeah. So even if they turn normal, Earthquake will always kill this thing since they're minus defense. And Terrafighting Adamant CC would be a roll to kill me. But if they're Jolly, I will always live. They Terra Normal, and they click Swords Dance, expecting themselves to live. They were actually max HP, which makes sense based on my speed tiers here. So they didn't need any speed, so they were max HP, and I should have assumed that. I didn't. I click Earthquake, but it just kills because I'm choice banned. Out comes Greninja. I was still expecting this to be Grass Knot, so I switch into Screamtail. They actually go for a switcheroo. They get rid of their Scarf, which I'm actually okay with, because now that means Iron Moth is my fastest Pokemon, although it is tough to lock into any one move, because if I click Sludge Wave, Scizor is immune to that, and if I click Fire Move on Scizor, the other two resist that. But still, Iron Moth being the fastest Pokemon on the field, just clicking U-turn is going to be really nice. And also, Screamtail having a Choice Scarf is fine. That means if Gouging Fire clicks Dragon Dance, I can still be faster than an Encore. And I'm also faster than Greninja. So not the end of the world, Screamtail being Choice Scarfed. I go Carbink. They go Gouging Fire, hoping they beat me. They don't. They Dragon Dance as I Iron Defense. I don't kill them right here with a Body Press, so I opt to go for another Iron Defense. And I make a bit of a misplay here. I decide to just kill them with Body Press. I'm Resto Chesto. No reason to not click Rest here. I would end up at more HP. They Dragon Claw. They get a crit. I barely live, and I kill them. Had I clicked rest there, the next turn I would have just killed them. I would have been at like 80% health, and I probably would have won the game from here. Had they not crit, I probably won anyways because this ends up being physical Greninja. But clicking rest was definitely the right play. They kill Carbink with U-turn, and they go Scizor, and I go Iron Moth. Another misplay here. Tough endgame for me. Fire Blast 2 hit KOs Greninja, but for some reason I click Fiery Dance instead. And even if I got the boost here, the next one would not kill, so I definitely should have just clicked Fire Blast. I do have to hit 2 of them, but I think it was the right play. Losing a bit of differential for no reason here, but I still think Swampert just clicks Earthquake and wins the game. They can't really kill me, unless they have Grass Knot last move on Greninja, which I don't think they do. And even if they do, Scarf, Screamtail will clean it up. The Liquidation does no damage, and Swampert gets 2 kills at the end there. That's nice. So, very bad early game, some misplays in the late game, but I got very lucky with those Thunder Waves and some of the Whirlwinds. The crit on Carbink didn't really matter. Lost a couple differential, but I could have saved that differential had I played a little bit better. Not overly happy with the team I brought. I think the double Iron Defense Body Press was really nice because they have a largely physical team. They brought Physical Gren, that helped. But yeah, Gouging Fire, Scizor, Lucario really struggled into Carbink plus Skarmory. Kyurem, terrible. Don't know what I was thinking. If I was loaded dice, I would have been in a much better spot this game. Um, Otherwise, they worked pretty well. That puts us at 4-2. Our differential is not the greatest. I'm not actually sure what it is, but it might be like +5 around there. I'm not sure. Um, Decently likely at making playoffs at this point. Winning another game would be great. And we got to make sure if we lose the next 2 weeks, just don't lose by too much. I've not looked at the matchups quite yet, but I'm sure we'll be fine, right? Probably not. Thanks for watching anyways, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.